Hey traders, welcome back. I'm going to just take you through now the next input we're going to look at, which is our time setup. So this is important because it's determining what time you're selecting or what bar you're selecting to determine your high and low for the start of your market directional indicator. So where our start time is 9 o'clock in this example, but our first bar setup or our time setup is at the 3 minute mark. So basically, if we go into our input here and we go into our strategy, you've got our time set up at, 5 minute in this example because we've got a 5 minute chart. So at 5 minutes, where that first 5 minute bar, that's going to be where we're looking at our high and our low, and we're going to work out our average line. So as a trader, you might decide, right, well, once the session starts at 9 o'clock, that's when I want to look at the session. My time setup is going to be at the 10-minute bar. So it'll take the second bar in, or you might say the 20-minute bar, so the fourth bar in. So it always has to be a multiple of your chart. So it's no good putting 21 here. It needs to be a multiple of your chart as far as the time based. If it's a bar setup, then it's going to be the number of bars in that you want to set that first setup, that bar setup. So it's important because this is, once we've got our start time at 9 o'clock or whatever it is that you choose, that first bar is going to determine what your high and low are for the session. And then we're going to recalibrate the high and low at the interval bar. So just to recap, when we initially start our market, we're looking at our initial setup, which is our 9 o'clock, our start time, and then you're picking or you're electing what bar you're going to base your high and low and your average line off. So will it be the first bar in, 5 minutes in? Will you wait, say, 10 or 15 minutes in? You've got to determine, or if it's a volume, range, Renko, tick chart, how many bars in before you start looking at your setup bar. So this setup bar is important because the setup bar, as you can see here, it's recording your high, low, and it's going to give you an average line as well. So it's a critical element to our determining our market directional indicator. And we're going to go into how we calculate the high, the low, and the average line shortly. So we'll do that in our next video. But as I mentioned before, the second part of the input or the indicator is determining what your time setup or your bar setup is going to be. How many bars in or how many minutes in are you going to wait until you select that time value? So in this example, we've got it as 5 minutes in. So we'll go back into the input. We've set up our start time as 9 o'clock, our end time at 1400. We've set it as a time split because that's what it is. Our time setup is going to be 5 minutes after 9 o'clock, so 9:05. And that's going to be where we look at our high and low for the session and record the high and low, and then we're going to work out our average line, which we'll do in the next video. Cheers.